My name is Dave Delaney. I worked for the forestry sector for 30 years. I started from 1977 to 2007 when the corporate board decided to violate my collective agreement and joined effort with the Union 2693. I wanted to share with you the people responsible for the mess of northwestern Ontario that created this massive layoff. I would like to let you know that your provincial government is responsible for 12,000 jobs lost, and on the personal reason, for personal political ambition, working closely with wealthy corporations and small companies. Their claim is that northwestern Ontario needs to be competitive, yet provided no evidence or example or comparison of what they're saying. The multinational company always wanted to lower the standard of living of workers and make them, the workforce, poor. We're responsible for initiating this mess. There's a person by the name of Jeter Sarkowski. In private practice, as a labor lawyer, he specializes in arbitration and mediation. Who hired this individual to do the dirty work and implement rules into the letter of understanding? There are two political forces. The former Premier Dave Peterson as a CEO for Bowater, and there is your government. They are the two political forces with a powerful motive to inflict maximal damage on communities like Thunder Bay, on the northwestern Ontario, by creating the 12,000 jobs lost and hurting a lot of families, sending the region into economic recession that it was well kept quiet about. The new rules to the collective agreements and the letter of understanding give power to the union leadership to undermine collective agreement, the right of the democratic process to decide by a majority vote. Democracy is under fire or is in danger because the union's leadership don't have to be accountable to no one but the members. The members, they're scared and intimidated because they're going to lose their job. They don't defend their right of free speech or right of self-expression. Mr. George T. Sarkowski has set up the groundwork for future conflict. I personally don't see a motive with Mr. George. I see a larger picture here with your political body, with the motive to do massive changes by passing all the from safeguards that protects the rights of workers. This is the conclusion of my investigation with the Human Rights Commission. I wrote a letter to the Ontario Relation Board and I explained to them what George was part of, the introduction of the letter of understanding and a letter signed by Mr. George that he helped to promote changes to the collective agreement by introducing the letter of understanding new set of rules that the union can use on the company. And I wanted to have the Human Rights Commission as my witness to see how the Ontario Relation Board will respond. And they care less. Mr. George was promoted as an arbitrator for the Ontario Relation Board. How this conflict developed with lies, deceit. The membership didn't have the courage to stand up to the union of the company for fear of losing their jobs. The conflict arrived in 2007. George should be investigated to see if he received some sort of financial benefit for hurting tens of thousands of jobs. And when this scenario started, when the union contract expired, the corporate board wanted to reduce wages and it was under the leadership of Dan Campbell. The workers understood the company's massive production capability of 100,000 tons per day with $28 billion in projection sales. The modernization of the Bowater wood production machinery with new speeds and of 90 miles per hour and produces about in 24 hours enough paper product from San Jose all the way to North Carolina. Production capability double. The money they're raking is unreal, providing no benefit in return for the community by milking the government hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. By getting concessions from the government, the workers took a stand with Bowater, told them you are taking our living camps away, make us in the community operation. We work from 15, 17, 18 hours from the time we get up to the time we lay down to rest. The Bowater finally came to negotiations and concessions with the workers and accepted the deal. In 2006, January 17, the union leadership reopened the contract without no authority, with the pretext of savings, and actually what they wanted is a vote to eliminate 80% of the vote, 80% of the workforce. This vote was stopped twice. The union leadership failed to negotiate a compensation package for workers affected by the restructuring program. The union leadership went to Igneous and create massive layoff. They shut down Igneous and the trickle effect into the community by creating massive resection. The manager, Dan Campbell, divided the woodlands resources, the massive woodland resources in two. From Graham to Igneous it goes to Dryden, and from Graham to Thunder Bay is wood depletion, cutting the life expectancy of the company by half. Robbing Thunder Bay of the job creation and job expansion, and cheating the taxpayer from massive support in Queen's Park, and massive concessions and property taxes and Stampede feed by a compensation package of between $150 to $200 million, merging of with TV supposed to give a benefit to the community, but it was the other way around. The taxpayer give a benefit to the wealthy multinational company, with CEO taking this money and running to the Caribbean with no strings attached. Be aware of the politicians making promises they cannot keep by improving the forestry sector. The forestry sector resources is being depleted. The only person responsible for this depletion and this mess in northwestern Ontario and look for it is your present government. Dan Campbell, why he divided the woodlands resources. Various companies didn't feel that the woodlands resources through Dryden was economically feasible. Why he did it? He hurt Thunder Bay. Dan Campbell was paid millions of dollars in compensation when he was fired to leave quietly. He sent hundreds of workers home and with $0 compensation for terminating their jobs. In 2007, I hired the firm of DeMarco to investigate the violation of the collective agreement. I knew there was a missing piece. I could not figure out at the time what it was. Ms. Tina Lee took over the case. Engaged with Bowater, the Ontario Relation Board, and the union. The Bowater and the union talked to the Howard DeMarco and Stephen DeMarco. Ms. Tina Lee was in conflict with her bosses. Ms. Tina Lee vanished, and the DeMarco firm claimed that she went back to Taiwan. I requested an investigation by the Howard DeMarco firm requested an investigation to the Law Society to contact Ms. Tina Lee, that she failed to notify of her exit and the reason why she stopped representing me. The Law Society provided me with investigators that are incompetent and inefficient, and they're not motivated and very poor investigators. I will continue this part in second part.